17 years as a college football coach, Ohio State, Florida, Utah, Bowling Green, three-time national champ, Fox Sports college football analyst. Urban Meyer now joining us live in the Herdies in Green Bay. Okay, so 26 of 32 players drafted were Big Ten or SEC. And I said this over the last 2 years. When you watch the Big Ten, it looks as good or better than the SEC. Those weren't the numbers, Coach, 5 years ago. Big Ten has stepped it up. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, in 2012, I first got hired at Ohio State, and even Shelley, and then everyone said, we were used to blocking first-round draft picks in the SEC, and you were not doing that in the Big Ten. It was a slow league, and that's no disrespect. It's a fact. Just check the draft. Great players, but not a lot of them. And I think the whole world's changed. The Big Ten is now on par with the Southeastern Conference, and it's only going to get better with USC as they continue to get better. So it's a credit, man. I think, first of all, the investment in Big Ten football changed in the early part of 2012, 13, 14. And what I mean by that, recruiting, they got out of their footprint. They went nationally. The stadiums got better. The crowds got better. Everything got better. And as a result, you can see it on draft day.
So the kid that rose, he was considered top of the second, and then he became middle of the first, is the Buckeye, the receiver, Ameaka, who played, by the way, in the Pacific Northwest. I saw his high school tape. Everybody out west wanted him. He went to Ohio State. People didn't love that in the West. But he may have moved up 15 spots while not playing. And my take is character, humility, hard work. When I watched the players who moved up in the first round, it was players like him who didn't play any more games, but when they interviewed, when the teams did homework inside the organizations in Ohio State and everybody said, what a class kid. That stuff matters. And I like him as a receiver, but it feels like people loved him as a kid, and that matters.
Of course it matters, Colin. And what's happened, all the negatives about NIL, and there are, and there's parts of it I can't stand. The part that you can stand are these guys are coming back to college. Ameaka's not a first-round draft pick last year. He was not. And that's the truth with the other players. You can see guys are coming back. The differential in maturity for most people when you're 20 to 21 years old, it's like a 10-year difference. I mean, they grow up. Ameaka needed to come back. He did. Whoever advised him, you see some real bad advice out there. That is great advice. As a result, the kid made a ton of money. He's a first-round draft pick, and I think he's going to be an NFL player for a long time. So I'm a big fan of his. But if he would have came out last year, it would not have been the same result.
All right, Colston Loveland, all the offensive coaches loved him. Now, not a blocker, but he's a clever player. You know what he is? He's what you're seeing more and more of, which we didn't see for a long time. You can move him out, like Brock Bowers. Go up against corners. Brock Bowers beats corners.
That's it.
I like him a lot. Would you worry that he's not much of a blocker?
I do. I don't. I think he's a great tight end, motion tight end, a receiver that can beat man coverage. The true mismatch, though, is when that guy can really block. So now the defense is in a predicament. What do? They put a linebacker or a safety on him. If you put a linebacker in close to 11, you're going to lose. And first of all, you can ID man coverage immediately. That's the beauty of that spot. Tyler Warren, who got picked a couple picks later, to me is a better blocker. He's bigger. But Colston Lovelin, I think it's a great pick. Obviously, it's not a new phenomenon. Everybody's looking for Bowers and Colston Lovelin. Everybody wants him. The problem is there's not many of them.
Yeah. So you did an Ashton Genty game. And listen, we know, if I recall, it was about 4 degrees. The competition's not great, but I did watch the Oregon game, and they got NFL players. They don't have Ohio State players, but they have NFL players. Would you worry a little bit about it's a massive step up in competition?
Of course, and Bill Belichick taught me that, and I used it in recruiting. I would not even watch high school film of players that were just so much, if you're playing lousy competition, I would not watch that film with a high school player because you get skewed. The reason he got drafted as high as he did is the Oregon game. It was not that he ran for 200 against lesser competition, because like you said, that those holes are going to get closed. They're going to miss tackles. You know, you're not going to see that same videotape that you're seeing against lesser people, because there are no lesser people. The Oregon game, when he dominated and he had so many post-contact yards, made him that money, not the stats. The NFL guys don't look at the stats. They want to see him against NFL players, and he did that against Oregon.
Travis Hunter's obviously a transformational talent, just an insane, relentless athlete. Would you worry a little bit? I mean, Jacksonville's got a first-time GM, a first-time head coach, a first-time coordinator. They got a lot of first-time guys, and you're going to have to kind of massage this, like, corner, receiver, what meeting room you're in. Are you worried at all about this is not a developed culture, it's not a veteran staff, and that's a little bit of a tricky situation?
He was the best player in the draft, and I was on record. If I had the first pick, I would have took Travis Hunter. That's how much respect we covered him. I got to know him. I watched him in practice. I watched him play the 160th play of a game. And then I had some people call me after I said that. It might have been on your show that I would take him number one. And they're like, do you really believe Travis Hunter can go against Denzel Ward for a series and then line up and go cover Marvin Harrison Jr. or Metcalf? You know, can you really believe he can do that? And it made me think for a minute. I think he's a generational talent. I think he's a generational. You saw him on the draft. Who doesn't want to coach a guy like that?
Yeah.
The guy sprinted out to meet Goodell. That's how much energy he's going to provide a team. So I'm a huge fan. He is the best player in the draft. Are there going to be questions? Yes. And how long, if he does play both ways, how long can your body actually take that? He's a young kid, but young kids eventually become old kids. So we'll see.
Yeah. You know, the Shedeur stuff. What did you make of him? What did you make of it?
Yeah, I covered him. I went to practice, and I had a lot of respect for him, and I did a lot of homework on this because I know we'd be asked on our podcast, on our show. And again, he spent the majority of time, certainly his second year, on the move, scrambling, running, and running away from harm's way. You cannot do that in the NFL. He'll get hurt and you'll get caught. So there's a lot of questions. Can he be that pocket passer, sit there in a disciplined offense and do it? That's what it came down to, and he didn't play very good talent. He made some throws in the NFL. Those windows are not there. So I still think he's going to be a great take early in the second, and I think he'll play in the NFL for a long time, but I understand the concerns.
Yeah. Urban Meyer, as always, Coach, great seeing you. You're going to be in Green Bay for a couple days. Nicest people in the world. Wonderful people. Now it's cold sometimes. Yeah.
It's old school nice here. I mean, it's one-story homes. So it's like Wrigley Field. As you pull up to Wrigley in the neighborhood, there it is.
Right
there's historic Lambeau Field right here, man. It's great.
Good seeing you, Coach.
Good seeing you.
Fox Sports, Urban Meyer.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.